Shane, and welcome to Creatures, Caverns, and Crafting. Today I want to talk about doing some crafting for games like Mutant Crawl Classic, This Is Not a Test, and Gamma World. Often YouTube is filled with instructional crafting videos for high fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammers, but we don't see a lot of crafting videos that pertain to these type of games. Not to say that they're not out there. I believe Dungeons and Coffee has some terrain building techniques for Mutant Crawl Classic, and there's a few others out there. But what I wanted to do today is show how we can make some miniatures by using some old vintage muscle figures. Now, each one of these type of games, they do have their own line of miniatures. I know Goodman Games actually had a line of Mutant Crawl Classic miniatures that you could buy, but you know, sometimes it's just fun to make your own miniatures, and that's kind of what I'll be doing today. So without further ado, let's go to the table. These are the vintage muscle figures I'll be using for the project. They've got some very good sculpts already, perfect for the Mutant Crawl Classic Gamma World game we're going to be playing. I want to show our first step is to identify the mold lines, like here on the arms, on the head. We're going to try to remove those, clean it up a little bit. You don't have to do this, but it does make it look a little better. Here's another sculpt for you guys to take a look at. Some very interesting characters. And removing the mold lines, we're going to take a figure here from the Human vs. Aliens kit you can buy on Amazon. I like to use this because the plastic is a little softer. We're just going to take our knife and put against a proper cutting surface and just press firmly till we separate the desired piece, in this case the head. There we go. And we're just going to take a look at placement, maybe on that side, maybe the other side. The next thing we're going to talk about is pinning. This is a great way to secure your external bits to the action figure you use. And in this case, I'm using sequin beads brought from Joann's. You can get these for fairly cheap, about $3.99. And you're going to need a cutting tool for those. I like to use these because they're a little stronger. Don't use a paper clip or anything like that. That's going to be too flexible and you might injure yourself. But again, I just inserted the head and you see how easy that was. The next is I'm going to take a tail from a HeroClix figure. Here I go. And what I've done is I've put a hole in the back using a razor knife. And again, we're just going to plug and play, put that tail in. And of course, you can secure these using E6000 super glue or whatever adhesive that you like. It'll create a secure bond. So next we'll be taking some green stuff to fashion some armor. It's very simple to do. All we're going to do is roll it into some balls and put it against the surface and flatten it down. I'll cover this a little bit more in depth in another video, but definitely can use some green stuff if you have it. So the next thing we're going to do is prime the mini, and for this I'm using Army Painter Barbarian Flesh. I want to point out that this is a mutant, so feel free to use other colors, greens, reds. Be creative when doing this. Also, we're going to do this outside. We're in a well-ventilated area, and if you need to use proper protective equipment, make sure you do that, such as gloves, glasses, or respirator. Now that our priming is done, we're going to go ahead and use some base colors. I like to use this suede for the athletic armor. Then we're going to use a leather brown for the boots and the shorts. And of course, green for the tail. golden tan and yellow for the hair, and a gray there for the base. And of course we'll tie all this together using some Citadel washes. We'll allow that to dry, then we'll come back and do our detail work, such as our eyes, some highlighting on the skin, and this is kind of what we'll come out with. I want to note that there are some mold lines. Even though we took that extra step and try to get rid of those, they're not as defined, but I think it came out looking pretty good. We'll go ahead and see what it looks like on the table now. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow. And until next time, look out for mushroom clouds and radiation.